So right over here, you got your hose. This is basically what screws onto the top of the tank. You can see inside there's a little pin, effectively. So that little pin presses down on this little button right here, and that's what releases the air and pressurizes the hose and everything else. So when you're ready to load up, what you're going to want to do is unscrew this, which basically allows that pin to be backed out. I just pushed it in with my thumb a bit. You screw it onto the tank. See if I can show you this without messing it up here. So basically, you're going to screw the nozzle here into the tank. Just imagine that this was full of air, okay? Once it's screwed on, pretty tight, you want to finger tighten it. Even though you're putting stress on this part right here, don't put too much. You don't want to gorilla tighten it, just tight enough, okay? Then what you're going to do is, with this hose already connected to the gun, you're going to go ahead and pressurize the whole thing, which means screwing this down. See, as you can hear there, when I did that, there's still just a little bit of residual air in this, even though for the most part this thing says zero psi, meaning it's empty, right? So as I plug this in, you can hear the air coming through, okay? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is plug this into the gun, and then we'll go through this whole thing again, and you'll see what it looks like when it's plugged in, all right? Set that there for a second. We've got our nozzle down here, which is where everything plugs in. We're going to make sure that this thing is turned off. We're going to make sure that the battery is unplugged, so that even if this is on and you pull the trigger, that solenoid and the motor won't suck up any BBs. They won't do anything. It's basically like a safety. You always want to make sure this is pointed somewhere safe. Please take care not to point this in anyone's direction. Don't be a numbskull and point it while somebody's standing next to you in the same room. Okay, right now this room's empty for the most part, other than the cat, and she's nowhere near where I'm pointing this thing right now. Right now it's pointed at the ceiling. So just be mindful of that. Always be mindful of that, especially with this thing. Okay, this is no joke. So anyways, you got your battery unplugged, you got the power off. There may or may not be BBs in here. So what you want to do is go ahead and plug that hose directly into the nozzle here, and it just clips on like a normal air tank, I guess you could call it. Okay, so basically what I've done there is I've plugged it in. This is hard to see. I plugged it into the nozzle, and then I made sure that this is seated properly so that when I pull on it, you can't get it loose. It doesn't screw on. It's just a pop on and off type thing. Your nozzle one more time. It's just got a little spring-loaded clip here, and that's basically. If your dad's familiar with air-powered tools, this should look real familiar on a smaller scale. It's just a little one. So, anyways, you seat this on here, just like that. Make sure it's on good and tight, and then just force that collar forward a little bit, and it's locked.